We are here today with my close friend and partner, Matt Heinle. Matt is president at BMD, and he just returned from a humanitarian effort in Ukraine. What was it about the Ukrainian crisis that motivated you to take action? Action so drastic that you went to Poland to assist the Ukrainians.
I was just tired of watching it on the news to see millions of refugees being stripped from their homes, men, grandparents. People knew, particularly during World War II, what was happening in Italy, Russia, Germany. How did those generations let that happen? This is happening again. It's 2022. We're watching this in high definition video. I said, I'm done being mad about it. I want to do something about it.
So was the media's reflection of what was occurring?
Inside Ukraine where I was and at the Polish border, what you're seeing on the news is very accurate in terms of tens of thousands of people pouring over the border every day. What really clicked after about my first 12 hours of being at the border was not seeing men. Just took me a while for my brain to register that it's only women, children, and elderly, because they're all staying back in Ukraine to fight for the country.
Who did you volunteer with?
World Central Kitchen was one that I registered with, which is a US-based NGO that really feeds people in hotspots. And then I registered with a Catholic church in Warsaw, and then two other local charities that were like branches of Polish and Ukrainian Red Cross.
How long were you in Poland?
I was on the ground for 5 days, and I spent 3 days at the border, right at the Polish-Ukrainian border and inside Ukraine, and then 2 days volunteering in Warsaw.
What's the one experience that you'd like to share with us today that was really meaningful and impacted you?
I've spent the first day and a half on the Polish side, just helping serve food, prepare food, deliver food and supplies right inside the Polish border. A couple of times I then went into Ukraine, and even though I was just over the border, it's night and day over there. It's thousands of Ukrainians in the queue. It feels much more desperate on the Ukraine side. The bombings weren't right there, but there were bombings just less than 10 miles away when I was there. The Ukrainians are literally walking to the border. We spoke to Ukrainians through interpreters that literally had walked 600 miles. It was amazing to see the hundreds of women and children as we were stocking the tents, lining up. A lot of their cell phones did not work. Their Ukrainian credit cards a lot of times didn't work. And most of them, because they hiked such a long distance, just had a bag with them. They were out of clothing for the most part, out of food, out of other supplies, really had no money. More than 85% of them had no idea where they were going next. And so to see that desperation in their eyes, both with the kids and with the women, was just really, really tough to see.
Was there any individual or any family that really touched your heart or that you really got close with during your trip?
Most of the kids just had this look of absolute fear because they just didn't know what was going on. The sadness and that desperation was just really moving.
What was surprising about your trip?
If the Polish people weren't so welcoming, the plight in Ukraine would be even worse than it is today. The Polish people opened up their doors. They're housing right now about 2.5 million. And I saw Ukrainian flags all throughout the country. Obviously, they speak different languages. And so a lot of the Polish people would have signs in their yards in Ukrainian. And just to see that outpouring of support, to me, was the most incredible thing that I witnessed.
If we wanted to help out in a meaningful way, how would you encourage us to do that?
A couple of organizations that I spent time with or I vetted, definitely World Central Kitchen, Ukrainian Church of the United States. They are taking money and supplies and getting it right to the people in Ukraine. And then also the International Red Cross are very much front and center.
Now that you are back, how are you continuing your efforts to help?
I've donated more money and supplies just once I've been back to those organizations. I definitely want to go back if I can make it happen in the next month. I continue to be sad and really humbled by what's going on over there. When you realize that there are these people going through this, it gives me a sharper reflection on being humble and being so appreciative of what we have here in the United States, but recognizing that we can do things for those people over there.
We at BMD are just so grateful to have great leaders like Matt Heinle at our firm that are willing to get up and make a difference and hop on a plane to Poland to help the Ukrainian refugees. So BMD is very pleased to announce that our employees are committed to furthering the efforts by giving back, and the BMD Foundation is matching those donations.
Which is tremendous. So thank you.